Hello, everyone, and welcome into another edition of the Inside Hilltopper Sports Zoom chat, Zoomcast. As Sean Williams, our boss, who decided he's better than us today. He didn't want to join us. He's got Minnesota stuff to do, or whatever he said. So he's not here today, but we are here. Pretty good show today coming up. A lot to discuss. You know, Hilltopper football not in the best position right now. They do have a win under their belt, but not a pretty one by any means. So we'll discuss that. Some basketball stuff going on. But Noah McGhee, Casey Warner, Tyler Mansfield here with you today. I guess start things off. Western Kentucky defeats Chattanooga 13-10 this past weekend. Obviously, an FCS school playing their first game of the season. We didn't expect a whole lot to happen, and that's exactly what happened. There's a boring game. It was a short game, but boring, just not fun. Hilltoppers get a win, but to me, it did not feel like a win. I guess I'll start with you, Noah. Just kind of your overall thoughts on the game, kind of what you saw, and to you, do you feel like it was a win for Western?
Yeah, it was a moral loss, is what it felt like. Just in the sense, as you talked about a short game, obviously, I talked about in the past how Western needed to put together some drives and sustain them, and they did that. They had a 19-play drive this weekend, and it ended in a fumble. So, once again, not many positives to take away on offense. I mean, I believe the total QBR, if you added up between KT and Piggy, was didn't even crack the 30s. Gage Walker had a really solid game, though. That was good to see. The defense clearly did their job, but I think as we all know, despite the positives that, may not be so positive because of the fashion it was done in, the negative is that Western should have lost that game. I think we all agreed that I think everybody agrees that was not a fair catch on the kickoff. And I was kind of sitting there thinking after the touchdown pass, I was like, the way the season's been, it would only be right if UT Chat runs this kickback, and what do you know? They did. And so I thought just that – I was like, of course they did. So, it's still quarterback inconsistencies, an issue. The secondary played better this weekend, so that was good, but credited the UT Chat passing attack was nothing special in comparison to what they've seen so far. So, yeah, obviously positive, negatives, not really much to take away. And as you said, kind of a boring game, long possessions that just kind of – that dragged on and didn't end in points or anything. So, not a whole lot to take away from this one other than the fact that, they got a win under their belt that was controversial.
I guess, like you said, that last play there, I feel like Western scored, we're going to win this game now. And we were all thinking in the press box, I know I was at least, I was like, they're going to run this thing back. And the ball's kicked off, they take off with it. And I look up from writing on my story, and I see a guy down the field scoring. I'm like, what just happened? And me and Jared McDonald from the Daily News was looking, talking back and forth. And, of course, they called it, and they reviewed it and called a fair catch. But I don't understand. I've never seen another player call a fair catch for somebody else. And even the other player, I don't think – he was just signaling his player to go, like, come on, man, let's do this. And they called a fair catch on that. So I do think Western got lucky on that play. I really do. Yeah,
that is something that special teams coaches will implement if they need to for the up man to wait for a fair catch. But I think in this case that was not what was going on, as you said. I think that, he was just – it just so happened to incidentally, be before the ball ended up in his hands. And, mental mistakes are huge, obviously. So, yeah, but, Tops win, so that's the positive.
That's pretty much all I can say is it's a win. Casey, your thoughts on the game? I'm sure you watched all that fun football we had last weekend.
Oh, yeah. So I'll just go ahead and start out by saying I've been to 2 FBS, FCS matchups in the past 5 years of my life. The first one I went to was UK against EKU back in 2015. I left that game early because I thought UK was going to lose. They were down 27-13 in the fourth quarter and somehow ended up winning that game when I left early. Same thing happened in the WKU Chattanooga game. I was there the whole game, stayed until about 2 minutes in the fourth quarter when we were up 10-6, or when we were down 10-6 rather. And I left that game as well, and we ended up winning that game too. So I guess there's something about me leaving these FCS games and the team I'm there for ended up winning. So I guess I shouldn't be at FCS games anymore. But anyways, yeah, we get the win. The pros are 122 rushing yards, most since the MTSU game. That's great to see. Got to get that rushing game going. Just like Noah was talking about a little bit, Gage Walker, 17 carries, 88 yards, 5.2 average. Love to see that from him. It seems like he's getting going a little bit more now. Jakari Moses, a 7.8 yards per carry average. Love to see that. He's been doing some good stuff this year, and it's continuing. And then I have written down here a win with a question mark next to it. I mean, I guess you say that that's a positive, that we got the win over Chattanooga by 3 points. So you take that. But definitely a lot to be negative about also. Negatives here, I got lost time of possession to an FCS team. We're the Tops, man. We're supposed to have that TOP, and we don't have it. I mean, we don't get that time of possession game in and game out, and it showed in this game against the FCS team. 3 of 12 on third downs again. Not going to cut it. I mean, it's game in and game out. This team is sub 50% on third downs, and it's just atrocious. 4.4 yards per play, not going to cut it. 1 out of 5 in the red zone, not going to cut it. 2 turnovers against the FCS school, and it's worth noting that Chattanooga didn't have any turnovers. So our defense did not force any turnovers, and we turned the ball over twice. Not good at all. And I've been saying this all year. Where's D'Angelo Malone? 7 tackles. I mean, that's great and all, but he's not getting in the backfield, man. He's just not getting those tackles for losses like he was last year, and he's not getting the sacks. Juwan Jones had a sack. That was pretty good, but where's D'Angelo Malone, man? I got to see more from him. So a lot to be negative about in this game, but, hey, we won.
Like you said, to Lim, it doesn't feel like it. And like you said, D'Angelo Malone hasn't been found this year, really. I think, to me, the best defensive guy I've seen is Eli Brown this year. He's been all over the field pretty much. But Jawan's did some good things, but D'Angelo I'm not sure what's going on with him right now. But like you said, to win, Western now 2-4 overall, 1-2 in Conference USA. But this week, no more FCS games. This week they're playing a big boy team, number 11 ranked, undefeated 6-0 BYU. The Tops fly out tomorrow morning to Provo, Utah for that game. It's a huge one. It's an ESPN game. They're 28.5-point underdogs right now. Really, they're about to play a team that scores 45 points and averages 547 yards per game. They're really good. Zach Wilson's the real deal. Great quarterback. I've watched BYU their last 2 games. I know it was Texas State and the other one they played, but they score points. It's like Western back in 2015 and 16 when they were really good with Mike White, Brandon Dowdy, those guys. But I guess coming into the game, Casey, I'll start with you. What do you look for in a game where you have nothing to lose, but also you're about to be playing against a top, almost 10 team on ESPN with obviously not much to show for under your record?
Yeah, so to start things off, I mean, immediately everyone's going to be watching this high-powered BYU offense. They're favored by 28.5, and the over/under is 53, which I think BYU could put up themselves, actually. So that's pretty interesting to look at. Worth noting, Zach Wilson's stats, they're excellent on the year. 1,928 yards, 16 touchdowns with just 1 INT, 115 rushing yards to add to that with 6 rushing touchdowns on the ground. That is excellent. That's an elite quarterback right there in college football. Dax Milne, he has 37 catches, 639 yards, 5 touchdowns. Going to be looking for that connection and how to stop it all game if you're the Tops. That's a great connection right there. And then I got to shout out my man with the cool last name, Troy Warner, 2 INTs for BYU. He's leading the team in INTs, so watch him. He's got a pretty cool last name, so watch out for him. And then they got 4 wide receivers with at least 10 catches and a touchdown. So, I mean, needless to say, Wilson spreads the ball around, so you never know who it's going to go to, even though, Milne's their standout guy. So it's going to be interesting to see who all he spreads it around to and how those defensive backs of Western are going to take that challenge and who they're going to cover up. That's probably all I got for BYU, but for us, there's a lot of questions here. I mean, who is going to be WKU's QB throughout the whole game? Are we going to see Pigram the whole game? Are we going to see KT the whole game? Are we going to see it kind of split in half like last game? I mean, we just don't know. There's got to be some kind of consistency established, I guess, in this game if you want to have any chance. Can Gage Walker continue to do what he did this past game? We think he's going a little bit more now. I would love to see him have his first 100-yard game of the season. That would be crucial to make this some kind of game. So I would love to see that from him. And do we have a pass rush? Like I touched on D'Angelo Malone earlier. I mean, Juwan Jones at least had a sack last game, but we got to get pressure on the quarterback. If we have any chance of making this even a close game, we got to put Zach Wilson on the ground, get some tackles for losses, and, wreak havoc in the backfield like we did last season, because this season it's just not the same pass rush. Nobody's getting pressure on the quarterback game in and game out. It's got to happen this game if we don't want to get embarrassed. So I'm really, really going to be looking for that in this game, what this defense can do to just slow down that high-powered offense to BYU.
Coach Hilton said Monday that he believes that he said Tyrell and Kavaris are both banged up right now. He said he's not sure which one will start, but he said Tyrell should get most of the reps. So I would expect him to announce Tyrell's a starter today. So either way, both quarterbacks are not in good health mode. I guess Pigram only threw 8 passes last week. So I guess we'll see who just QB1 do. I think it will be Tyrell starting BYU. But either way, whoever starts, their hands are full. You're about to play, and also BYU good defense too. But obviously, it's just a tough test overall. Noah, your thoughts coming into a game where they're traveling their fourth farthest ever in program history, going to the mountains to play one of the best teams in the country.
Yeah, I think obviously on top of the just with the talent they're going to be facing, obviously the distance is going to play a factor. You know, this is the furthest I think Western's traveled in I forgot how many years whenever it first came out. And then obviously you're playing in mountain time zones now, and that's going to be really different. It's going to be, BYU is going to be more up. It'll be a little later. It'll be, 9:15 back here in Bowling Green by the time this one kicks off. So that would be really interesting. But yeah, Zach Wilson's a stud. I've raved about him. I actually sat across from the room that Casey's in on Sunday night and declared BYU as my fourth playoff team right now at the moment because I think that they're that good. Yeah, Zach Wilson's he's a stud. He's gotten so much better. I've enjoyed watching him in his past couple years at BYU. And spreads the ball around really well. Tyler Allgaier's really physical running back. The defense is just super sound, gap sound. They tackle well. They cover well. The offensive line for BYU, it's really sad because obviously the strength of this Western team is the defensive line, and the strength for BYU is their offensive line. I would argue that unit is better than the top defensive line. Like I have a stat here, the BYU offensive tackle Brady Christensen is the only offensive lineman in college football with 90-plus grades in both pass and run blocking, according to PFF. So I mean that's relatively unheard of for most offensive linemen. So. You have a mountain mover there at left or, at the tackle spot, and, D'Angelo Malone or Juwan Jones, depending on where they line up, is going to draw him. So might neutralize part of the pass rush. And if the Hilltoppers have any chance of even sniffing upset, it's going to have to start with pass rush leading the turnovers. But BYU doesn't turn the ball over. So obviously this is just it's a monumental task. I think, BYU's favored by 29 now. It was 28.5. So they'll move back half a point. Wouldn't be surprised to see that line move back a little bit more. But yeah, they've pretty much dominated all their competition so far. Tough task. I don't know what else I got to say. Tough task. I mean, you can overanalyze. You can try to analyze it all day, but I think it's pretty clear on paper when you look at it that it smells like blowout.
Yeah, like you said, the biggest thing for this game is you get some TV time, you get a chance for recruits to see you on TV. I know they say they'll understand you're playing almost a 10 team in the country, but at the night game, it's kind of unique to see Western play this far away against a team they haven't played before, and of course, just to go that far away for a game on Halloween nights, it's spooky night. So we'll see how things go. But anyway, football talk. UTC got the win, 2-4 now. BYU this week, obviously a tall test, like we said. I guess we'll go ahead and do predictions for this game, then we'll jump to some basketball talk. I don't want to go first, so Casey, I'll throw it to you. Give me some kind of score prediction for this game.
Yeah, I'm actually being generous to the tops here. I got it 49 BYU, 17 WKU. So I don't quite think we're going to cover the spread, but if we could put up 2 touchdowns, that would be excellent. I mean, I don't know that we can even do that. So that would be great to see us put up a couple touchdowns, maybe even 3. And if we could hold BYU to under 50, maybe even under 40, I would call that maybe a moral victory. So that would be great. And BYU's going to win this game.
All right, Noah, you're ready. You're up.
Yeah, 52-6.
All right.
I mean, I look at so they beat La Tech 45-14. La Tech is easily is better than Western, and Navy is too. They dragged Navy, but credit that was first game of the year. And Navy had not tackled throughout camps, and so they beat them to death with a run game. So I think that. I think that despite whoever plays quarterback, the Tops are going to really struggle to move the ball. I think BYU they're going to come out and throw it a lot early, but then in the second half they'll run the rock to kill the clock. But I think at the same time, like they'll still be able to produce chunk plays and score. So yeah, 52-6.
All right, heard it there first. Noah McGhee, Casey Warner. My pick. You know what? I'll take BYU today. I think I'll take BYU. Give me a final score. I'm going to go about 48-10. I can see the top scoring of, early field goal, maybe a late touchdown once BYU's third or fourth string guys are in. But even at that point, it'll just be like to not look bad on TV, obviously, to get some more points under your belt. So there's our 3 picks. I'm sure Sean will throw his along there when he gets the staff picks posted for the, to run Saturday morning or tomorrow afternoon one. Football talk's done, and now we get some basketball talk. Season tips off on November 25th. We had a Zoom call with Coach Stansberry. I think it was Tuesday. He announced that The Hilltoppers will open their season in a Nebraska bubble on the 25th of November, right before Thanksgiving. They'll play 2 games there. The first game is to be determined, but the second game, they'll play a top 20 team in LSU, who brings back almost everybody from last year's team. And after that game, they're going to the Louisville bubble to play. It'll be, I think, Seton Hall, Louisville, Western, Prairie View, A&M, and a couple other teams. So they'll play 3 games there before coming back home to open up Conference USA play eventually. But schedule is set. That's non-conference-wise. We'll touch on that first. So I guess your all's thoughts on playing some bubbles this year with some quality opponents for Western to open the season.
Yeah, I think the Nebraska. Obviously, I think I would argue. I was talking to one of my buddies about this one the other day because obviously capacity limits are being released throughout the state in terms of what stadiums can hold what. I know the Center did just a couple of days ago, and it's not very many people. And I was talking about, man, this is a hot ticket team. Like I would argue, this is the most talent this campus has ever seen on one roster. We've been saying that the last couple of years, though. So I think this is the year. I've been seeing some tweets too that's like, hey, this might be the team where the glass slipper can fit in March if they get, if they can make it there. And I think there's no better way to start than in the Nebraska Oval and taking on Will Wade and LSU, Trenton Watford coming back and Javonte Smart. So they've got some excellent scores back on the offensive end. And I think Watford and Carson Williams will be a very fun matchup. Watford's he's a high-energy player and hits the glass hard. And Carson's super blue-collar and one of the unsung guys in college basketball. And then I really like watching Javonte Smart play. Really good 3-level score. So I think that'll be a fun game. In the Louisville bubble, obviously, there's a lot of chances to play some high-quality basketball teams and just kind of see where this squad is because, the Power 5, there's the stat that's been on a lot of the, Western sports pages has been they're 8-4 against Power 5 the last few years. So, obviously, smart move by Stansbury to go out and, we don't know how the tournament will be, what it'll look like this year. So why not go and schedule tough Power 5 competitions to at least prove yourself so that you can improve your seeding later on down if you can pull off some upsets early in the season. So I'm pretty excited about the schedule they've put together this year.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I mean, you were on mute, Tyler. You good? What did you want to say?
No, you're good. Go ahead, Case. My bad.
All right, cool. Yeah, sweet. So, anyways, just kind of, backing off what Noah said, that LSU game I think is going to be huge. 2 big matchups in that game. He mentioned Trenton Watford and Javonte Smart. Charles Bassey on Trenton Watford and Javonte Smart on Tavion Hollingsworth. So those are going to be 2 matchups to watch right there. That's going to be some fun, action-packed basketball to watch. Watford averaged 13.6 points per game. Just under 2 assists and 7.2 rebounds, and he's a sophomore now. So that's pretty impressive, for him in his early years to average that. 6'9", 240. He's definitely going to want to body up Charles Bassey. That's going to be a great matchup to look forward to. And then Javonte Smart, he averaged just over 12 a game, 4.2 assists, and then 3.5 rebounds. So 2 big matchups right there. We're really going to be looking to see what Bassey and what Hollingsworth have this year as far as the 2 outspoken leaders on the team. So really looking forward to those 2 matchups. And then I'm really looking forward to this Louisville matchup too because L's down always. And in this area, it's always L's down. So I would love to see the Tops pull off that upset, and I think they can pull off that upset, and this is why. Their best returning player, I believe, is Malik Williams from last season, who averaged just over 8.5 and 6.1 rebounds. And Charles Bassey is matching up with him. Now, he's a big-body guy. He's 6'11", 250. My lights out went there a little bit, but I'm still good. So, yeah, Bassey on Malik Williams, that's going to be a pretty good matchup. And Louisville lost 6 contributors last year, which combined for 51 points per game. So that's a lot lost right there from a Louisville team that was very successful last year. And like Noah said, this is the best chance I think WKU has to be a Cinderella in quite some time. So I think a lot of people are picking this WKU team to be a Cinderella, and I think they could start off the year very hot with big wins over LSU, and I would love to see them beat the Cards. So those are going to be 2 matchups to watch for in all of college basketball.
Yeah, I agree, and especially talking about Louisville, that's in my opinion. I'm not sure where they have Louisville in the early polls or where they will be, but as you said, Malik Williams and then David Johnson, I think, will take a huge leap this year. He'll be one of these top players this year. But other than that, they don't have a lot of guys coming back that contribute. So this Western team, I count off real quick in my head, maybe like 8 or 9 deep because you have Bassey back, you got Josh back, you got Tay back, you got Carson back, Kenny Cooper's eligible, Jordan Rawls, Luke Frampton's going to be he's my Cam Justice this year because
good.
I mean he's a sniper, and that's something that Western has needed for a long time. So you got him, Davion McKnight's back, And then obviously, Milton and all these guys, like there's going to be plenty of production and minutes to go, to come from multiple spots on the floor.
Hey, good points, guys. It's an intriguing team, exciting team. I guess they can really, if they want to, they can go 10 deep with two platoons like UK did a few years ago. Just so much talent this year on the roster. Non-conference wise, things look great. Bubble wise, this year will be cool. Conference USA wise, they announced their format Monday. Western will play an 18-game league schedule. They will play 2 games per visit at 4 select schools, and then they'll host 4 select schools for a 2-game series. So they're cutting down on travel this year, cutting down on COVID spread. So that's pretty cool to see. Schedule's out online right now. You can go check it out. And also, you'll play a rival team twice, so both once home and once away. So really cool Conference USA schedule right there to cut down on cost and COVID spread. I guess your all's quick thoughts on the league doing that. I guess they open at Charlotte for 2 games, and they go to La Tech, yada, yada, yada. So you're playing – it's kind of like you're in high school again. You're playing, teams back-to-back like you're in an AAU tournament kind of.
Yeah, and I think as you talked about, play a rival once on the road, once at home. Obviously, the Conference USA made that pretty evident. They wanted Western and Marshall to play once on the road and once away in the same week. And I think that's okay. I mean, obviously, with the COVID situation, it will be important to monitor in terms of travel. But I think that's something that most of the fans in the conference probably would want to happen because it's always such a great time, home and road matchups for whichever side you're rooting for. But I think it just be a really interesting format. I think it'll be good for fatigue, because if you're playing 2 games at home in a week, you don't have to worry about traveling and whatnot. And then if you're going on the road, you don't have to worry about getting on the plane and coming back home and playing a game, 24 hours playing another game. So I think it'll be an interesting way to manage fatigue and maybe something that the NCAA maybe looks at in the future. Probably not, but I mean, I think this is a really interesting format going forward.
Yeah, so noteworthy matchups in that Conference USA schedule just right off the bat. Louisiana Tech right after New Year's. That's one of the top teams in the Conference USA. And then the other top team in the Conference USA, North Texas, in mid-February. Those are going to be 2 great matchups right there that I'm really looking forward to seeing as far as Conference USA schedule goes. And like you touched on, Noah, the fatigue and, the rest just being on the road and staying there. That's great. I wish I was a basketball player, man, because I'd say they're going to get a lot of leeway in the classroom and they're going to be missing a lot of class, which sounds really fun. So, I would love to be a basketball player. I love the way they laid the schedule out as far as, lack of travel and, lack of spread of COVID trying to prevent. That sounds like a great idea. I love what they did with the schedule. And overall, it's just going to be a great year of Conference USA basketball. And I think with this schedule, the way it's set up, we're really going to see a different kind of Conference USA this year. I think it's going to be a lot more intense. Like Noah said, there's going to be a lot more rested players, and it's going to be a lot more heated competition. I think top to bottom, the conference is going to be very competitive.
Hey, good points. I'm excited now. I know football's obviously in full swing. We have a few weeks left to go still. FAU game, FIU, Southern Miss, teams like that still to come this year. But basketball's around the corner, so it's time to start looking at that. The schedule's out. I think non-conference-wise, they're still finalizing a few games to come out. So once that's done, they'll have the official schedule out. But as for us today, we have football talk, basketball talk, Sean Williams talk. He dished on us today. But other than that, everything's great. Guys, anything you want to add before we close up?
Yeah, I think whenever basketball season starts, like I've resoundingly stated in the past, I'm not emotionally invested into any sport on this campus except for one, and it just happens to be men's basketball. So I know when people go to Diddle, they see Tyler, and they see him on press row. I don't know where Casey will be. He might be there on the baseline, but you'll see me in seat B1 in the student section, where I've only lost 1 home game with my roommate next to me. So. Yeah, I know. So, guys, I'll still be around for Zoom chats and typing up, but, no game stories because I got to sit in my spot. That's why I'm really worried about capacity because I've been proven to be an X factor whenever the Tops are at home.
That's good stuff right there. That's a great stat.
Yeah.
One loss.
I have genuinely thought about going to Todd Stewart and asking if I can have my name on the seat whenever I graduate. If I leave with only 1 loss, the 1 loss was to Charlotte last year in bonus play on the game-winning runner.
Oh, yeah.
Actually came to that game as their first game, so I kind of blame my parents for that. So I still to a degree, I want to say I'm still defeated, but we changed it up for one Saturday and they lost. So other than that, I'm good.
Casey,
yeah,
anything else?
Yeah, man, that's lovely there. No, I'd say you're a very superstitious guy, and I love the superstition, man, because what's sports without superstition, man? So that's great. But shout out to all my guys here. Shout out to Tyler Mansfield. Shout out to Noah McGhee. Y'all do some great stuff for the website as always. And hey, shout out to our man Sean Williams that can't be here. He does great stuff as always as our publisher. And we got some good stuff coming up this week, of course, as always. We had that Pro Topper update earlier. We had that CUSA recap from Noah. We got that beat writer Q&A coming, I'm sure, from Tyler later this week. I got a player feature on Joshua Simon coming up later this week. That's going to be good stuff as well. So we always got great A1 tip-top content on InsideHilltoppersports.com. You can always expect the best from this trio.
I like it. That's strong stuff right there, Casey Warner.
Oh, yeah.
Like Casey said, follow us inside Hilltoppersports.com for all your consistent WKU coverage for 100% free. You can't beat that. No paywalls, no subscriptions. There you go. But you can subscribe for additional stuff and to give us some money. It's just up to you guys. Twitter at WKU_rivals. I am at Tyler. No, I'm not Tyler Mansfield. I'm at by Mansfield. I think that's my name on there. At the Casey Warner, and I believe it's at Noah MCGH Sports.
Right. There we go. You got them all right. Nice.
I think Sean's at Sean W_rival, I think. But he tweets a lot of Missouri and Minnesota Vanderbilt stuff, so you won't see much Western stuff from him. But give the guy a follow, okay? Because one day he will be a Rivals national guy. I'm calling it.
Yeah, he's rowing the boat today. We don't blame him. He's rowing the boat today.
He's doing something more important than us.
Yes.
All right, man. We had fun. We're all done. Be sure to – you can't really subscribe to this, but make sure you just stay tuned for our weekly Zoom chat, Zoomcast, whenever we'll decide to record it. Usually it's Mondays, but we had a busy week, so Thursday it is. But thank you guys for joining us.